Ding dang dong, ding dang dong.
I've been in the post since June, and we began implementing 1+2 at the very end of June, just before the summer holidays, and we had a 3-day training session for a teacher from every primary school, and we worked with the teachers and also with Risha, with the Power Language platform, which we purchased at that point for the authority. The 20 teachers who came in on the training have since become coordinators and are now moving the training on in their own schools.
Using the MLPS methodology was how I taught French throughout the school. I quite often visited other classes and had to be the teacher of French, but now, since this new methodology, things are very much changed.
I've been teaching for 7 years. No, I never used to teach French. Another teacher came in and used to drop in and do the French cover for me. So this is really the first year that I've been taking it on myself, especially with the younger ones.
I think initially when we first heard, we were going to be bringing French in from primary 1 through to primary 7, I think they were a bit apprehensive. However, I have to say I've been blown away by their enthusiasm, which is then transferred to pupil enthusiasm, and it's been absolutely fantastic. I'm delighted to see it throughout the school and the impact that it's having.
What's happening in Ardgowan today is an example of very good practice, which as an authority representative I'm absolutely delighted with. All of our 20 primary schools are embracing this initiative, but Ardgowan have possibly gone a step further. The whole school community is involved, as well as parents, and it's working really well.
Every week we have a school newsletter that goes home to parents, and we put a small section in it with the French phrase of the week so that parents know what their children are being taught in the school, and hopefully will encourage them to speak a little bit of the language at home as well.
One of our 4 values, which we agreed as a school, is friendship, and I feel the French has actually pulled that together, because you'll hear children themselves interacting, older children, younger children, bonjour and so on, so it's really brought the school together.
Je m'appelle Richard Talaron. I was an MLPS tutor for about 10 years. I am now involved in primary language learning, and in particular the 1+2 initiative. I've been working with Inverclyde Council since June last year. I've had a great time training all the language coordinators from all the schools in Inverclyde. I call them a little bijou local authority because they only have 20 schools, but they've really, all of them, embraced the whole project, the whole initiative. The reason why we're here today in this primary school is that for me it really represents all the good practice brought about by 1+2. The full school approach, all the teachers are delivering French, classroom assistants, parents are involved, the head teachers on board. It's just wonderful to see the whole school approach. What they do here is embedding French a little bit every day, but there's also discrete teaching happening, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. French is not an add-on, it really is part of the school. So this section coming up, it is about a teacher embedding French in the morning as the pupils arrive on a Monday morning at school. So it's using French as part of the routine.
Bonjour la classe.
Bonjour maîtresse.
Ça va? Ça va? Ça va, Dylan?
Ça va super bien.
Ça va super bien. Ça va, Louis?
Ça ne va pas.
Ça ne va pas. Oh. Ça va, Evan?
Ça va comme ci, comme ça.
Ça va comme ci, comme ça. Et toi, ça va?
Ça va super bien.
Ça va super bien. Et Jamie, ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Ça va bien, merci. Pose-moi la question. Pose-moi la question, Holly.
Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci. Ça va bien, merci. Alors, écoutez, je fais l'appel. Je fais l'appel. Répondez présent ou présente. Présent ou présente. Louis.
Présent.
Sylvain.
Présent.
Rhys.
Présent.
Sean.
Présent.
Yves.
Présent.
Nive.
Absent.
Absent, elle est absente. Nive est absente.
In this section, we'll see the learners transferring the numeracy, the skills that they have in English, transferring these skills into French.
Levez-vous si vous allez à la cantine aujourd'hui. Levez-vous. Alors, comptez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. C'est combien 16 en anglais? C'est combien 16, Holly? 16, oui. Merci, asseyez-vous. Alors, les nombres de 0 à 10. Écoutez et répétez. 0. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Super. Involontaire. Rhys, viens ici. Les deux mains, comme ça. 0,
1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
7, 9,
10, 9,
8,
7,
10,
6,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
0.
Super. Merci, Rhys. So just before we start this off, remind me, what is the phrase that we say as we throw the dice, Sean? Je lance le dé. And what do we do once we have said je lance le dé, Andrew?
You say the number you get.
You say the number you get. Then what happens, Jodie, after that?
You someone else says
Je lance le dé. They say the number. And then what is it you do with the two numbers, Ryan, when you've got them?
the first number that you rolled, you say that, and you add on the other one. So it's like
So for example, that would be
plus 3 égale 5.
2 plus 3 égale 5. Oui, okay, so we're going to give that a little go just now. Oui, c'est 6. Je lance le dé. C'est quel nombre, Kate? 6, oui, et je lance le dé. C'est quel nombre, Sylvain? 1. 6 plus 1. 6 plus 1 égale plus?
7.
Oui, 6 plus 1 égale 7. 4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Au revoir, Daniel. 3 personnes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Au revoir, Kyle. 2 personnes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Au revoir, Kate. Super, Sylvain. Il est le 11 assassin. Super.
Now, the section on Papa Noel is really using storytelling to help embed French. In this case, it's Papa Noel because it's Christmas time. We're in December. But I think the important message is transferring for teachers to transfer skills that they use in English themselves to French. For example, sequencing a story. You will see, in this case, the pupils will physically build the sentence themselves in order to learn that story.
Papa Noël et Rodolphe le Reine apportent des cadeaux sous le sapin. Sur le sapin, il y a une boule, une cloche et Dylan, une étoile. Viens ici, une étoile. Papa Noël et Rodolphe le Reine apportent des cadeaux sous le sapin. Sur le sapin, il y a une boule, une cloche et une étoile. Super, merci. Alors,
This section we'll see a primary one teacher working with younger learners. Some of them are not 5 yet, but she uses a hand puppet. I think we must not underestimate the power of that hand puppet.
So we're going to have a wee chat about how we're feeling, and then I'll maybe ask you some other French questions, all right? Okay. Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Ça va bien, merci. Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Ça va bien, merci. Bonjour, ça va, Billy?
Ça va super bien.
Ça va super bien. Bonjour, ça va?
Ça va super bien.
Ça va super bien. Bonjour, ça va?
Comme si comme ça.
It really helps, I think, the teacher, but also the learners. The pupils will talk more readily to the puppet.
We have Richard Talleron with us this morning.
Bonjour.
It's a pleasure to
Merci.
have him here.
Merci.
We've been learning lots and lots of French over the months in school, and it's a treat for us that we have a French person with us this morning. So Richard is going to spend some time with us this morning at Assembly.
Oui.
Okay.
Merci, merci. So the full school approach allows us to have, for example, assembly with all the learners, or in this case, it's from P4 to P7. You'll see that I'll start with assembly with a little story. Now, the story about Papa Noel, the objectives of that story was for the learners to learn the words of the story and to learn the sentences which make up the story. My story, and I would like to say that the children have never heard that story in French, but the objectives of my story are really for the pupils, for the learners to listen. It's more of a listening comp. But I want them to develop skills such as focusing on individual words. They don't have to understand the whole story, but just focus on the individual words which will help them understand the full story. Marie, Joseph et le bœuf, le mouton et l'âne. Ensemble, ils chantent Douce nuit, sainte nuit. Bravo l'école. Très très bien. Super. Merci.
French is part of his everyday life in school, and when they're collected from the buses, you hear all the children coming off the bus saying au revoir, or in the morning you hear them saying bonjour, so all the parents are getting to know, well, they're learning this at school as well as their English, so it's good.
Oh, I think the children's confidence in speaking French has increased so much from, primary 1, you see it throughout the school, from primary 1 all the way through to primary 7, they're not embarrassed to be speaking another language. They run up to you in the playground, they'll tell you the phrase of the week, they'll try and catch you out by asking you French questions and things. It's good.
I think for people who don't have a lot of French experience, a lot of confidence, some of the really good bits of the platform have sound files attached where you can click on the sound file, you can hear the French accent, the French way to say things, so it's being modelled for the teacher as well as for the pupil.
If I had to give advice to any other local authorities, it would be to go for it. I know some other authorities have gone with a more softly approach, but we decided in Inverclyde to go for it and go from P1 all through to P7. And it's worked really well for us. The whole school approach has worked really well, particularly. But also, we couldn't have come to where we are just now without the support of the Power Language platform, because that just gave people from the first session of the 3-day training that we did on the Power Language platform, people were instantly felt supported and felt that they could go. There are sound files with native speakers. Everything's very simple, and you can also have an overview of it throughout the year from block 1 to 4. So I would most certainly recommend that, and also recommend what somebody said to me at the very beginning of this: restez calme et parlez français.
I think you saw also in Jane's class, when Jane and her pupils work on la routine every morning, there is a progression. It's not just bonjour and what's the weather like, but they try to create a progression. Of course, with 1+2 now, doing French a little bit every day, we have to create a progression. We have to come up with different questions. We have to make sure we challenge the learners, early first level and second level. And I feel this is exactly what we're getting and what the pupils are getting in this school.
It's good because it's natural, it's gradual, they're building their confidence and all learning together, and sometimes that includes the teacher as well.
Frère